Hey, it's Frank here with 4D Honeybee. I am checking out my hive number 2 today. And it's first week of August. There's a decent amount of activity, but not a ton. I put a super on this box, even though it wasn't ready for a super as far as honey production. I put the super on the box because it had a decent amount of honey in it, and I wanted them to take that honey and move it down to the lower boxes as one of their own resources. So it's been a week, so now I'm going to check if that's successful. Regardless of whether it's successful or not, if it's a success, they've moved the resources and I can take that box away now and let them deal with just 2 brood boxes. If it isn't a success, I'm going to take the box away anyway. So key mission here is just to see the kind of numbers of bees, numbers of brood primarily that this queen is laying. All the bees that you'll see in this video are not going to overwinter, right? They're going to die in the fall or in the winter. So she needs to make, you know, at least 2 times more bees from brood in the next 2 months, really month and a half, because they start dying down in September as far as production goes. So if this hive is not doing as well as I want as far as brood, I'm going to take at least 1 or possibly 2 brood frames from my other hive, which is going really strong. So that's why it's always beneficial to never start off with 1 hive. If it's at all possible, start off with 2, because you learn by comparing one to the other, or you learn and improve the health of the hives by taking resources from one to the other. So thanks for joining me at 4D Honeybee. Okay, so right off the bat, comparing this hive to the other one, it looks like there's less activity at the front, and I know that there are fewer bees in this hive. So that's an important factor. Check the lid for the queen, nothing happening there. Change your angle a little bit. I don't expect much action in this top box. Really all I expect is that hopefully they've cleaned it up and removed some of the honey in it and taken it down below to help them build out. And yeah, that's what we're looking at. You can see not much action here, and a lot of people said not to put on that top box. So it's been on for a week. I will remove it now, push all the bees back into the bottom box, and just see what they've done with the resources that were in the top box. This is the hive that had queen issues. I took a couple splits from. I believe the splits made their way back into this hive. Not very well done splits, by the way, but there was a queen in here and laying. And the numbers are pretty decent now. You can see this is the top brood box. And I don't remember if I found the queen up here last time or in the lower box. But in any case, I'm going to go through this hive frame by frame. And all I want to make sure is that the queen is laying and laying a lot, because all the bees that you see now are not going to survive the winter. So this queen needs to double or triple her population to have any chance of this hive surviving. If she's not doing that well, if there isn't that much brood, eggs, larvae, that type of thing in here, I may take a frame or 2 from my other hive. And that's why we often recommend, if you're just starting out, try to start off with 2 hives. Don't start off with just 1. And the reason why is that you compare one to the other, and you can also use resources from one to the other, and it gives you a better chance of both hives surviving. Get out of there. Now I've got my smoker lit, but I haven't smoked these bees yet, and look at how calm they are. I can't say that enough about these bees. They just want to be nice. First frame is always the most delicate. Just go really slow. Try to go straight up as best you can, because the queen might be on that frame. And you don't want to roll the queen or roll bees. They're filling this up with nectar, which is what one would expect. I trap one of you guys. Okay, so here again is another frame of nectar and honey. And this is a heavy frame. This has got to be over 10 pounds. Okay. Now, next frame is where we should start to see brood in one form or another, and the next 4 frames really should have brood. Even though this is the upper box, the queen should be laying up here. She has unfettered access. There's the queen right there. Big, beautiful, big queen. Wow, look at her. Right at the bottom of the frame. Going to the other side and keep her over the box. Okay, there's the queen, moving back towards the middle of the frame. So I'm going to set her up in a safe place so that I know she's okay. Okay, so these two frames will no further be touched. Okay, so they're drawing out this one, that's good. There's lots of room for the queen to lay here as well. Let's check out this frame. This frame is pretty heavy with nectar, honey, and another supersedure cell. These guys keep making supersedure cells. They've never stopped, basically. And it's very likely that the first queen in here swarmed. There's another supersedure cell. And I don't know why or if these bees just don't like their queen, because their queen is doing a good job from what I can tell. Well, we did see eggs. Lots of honey in this cell too. Okay, so we found the queen. She's laying in the upper box. What it looks like to me is that they've just prepared the upper box for her to lay. There's lots of empty frames in here that are drawn out and ready for her. So if we go below and find a lot of capped brood, I'm happy. I'm happy because I know that she's been laying in that bottom box. She's kind of done with that for now and moved up to this top box. Because of that, I may switch them down and keep the queen in the lower box. We'll just see what this next box below gives us. If I don't find much or any capped brood in here, then maybe they're trying to replace their queen because she's not laying properly. I mean, she was big and beautiful, and she's new-ish. You know, she's only a couple months old type of thing. But who knows? There may be a reason why they're putting so many swarm cells up. Fairly light frame for it being a honey frame. Actually, no, it's pretty good. Yeah, they're drying this one out and filling it up with honey, which is just fine. Next frame should be a honey frame. And it is, wow, very heavy honey frame, which they are drawing out quite nicely. Next frame is blank. Some pollen, honey. Don't really see much more in this frame. Well, this is a frame they're preparing for laying because they've got honey and pollen all around the outside here and nothing on the inside here. Let's have a closer look. Yeah. Leave this one in here. Okay, now here is a solid drone comb frame, and this is trouble. This shows that someone is laying drones here and not queens. And not eggs, I'm sorry. Now that frame did exist last time. It wasn't completely capped. So, you know, I'm not overly concerned about it, but we really do need to see some capped brood in here. And we're just not going to, I don't think. Nope. So here's another supersedure cell, 2 of them. One actually has a bee right in it. I mean, lots of pollen, lots of nectar. They're not short on resources, but they're short on a laying queen. Okay, so we're going to remove this bottom box. I'll set it up on the lid here. And then put the top box on the bottom and then go through that one again to get a really comprehensive idea of whether the queen is laying or not. Okay. The other thing that I'm kind of conscious of now is second time through a hive, they tend to get nasty. These bees have never been nasty, but I'm going to smoke them in advance, just in case. Yeah, okay. So I do see larvae here. I do see eggs. So this queen is laying. Yeah. Okay. There's the queen. See her right there? So let's just watch her for a while, see what she's doing. I'm going to put her in the shade. She looks like she's looking for a place to lay. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to grab 2 brood frames, maybe 1 brood frame, 1 frame with brood and eggs, and put them in here. And I'm going to swap out 2 decent empty frames. And I think these next 2 are getting ready for the queen to lay. See that? There's no sign of nectar or pollen. There's no sign of eggs. It's a beautiful frame ready to go. So I'm sure the other queen will appreciate this empty frame. This frame's got a lot of honey in it. Okay, let's take that frame too. Oops, shake the bees off first. Okay. There's the fucking queen. Damn it. Okay, so here's a second beautiful frame of brood. We'll give them this. This is wall-to-wall brood on both sides. Try not to shake too much. 1, 2, and that's it. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. And did I just see the queen there? Very possibly. Yep, there's the queen. Okay, that's good. Hope she will approve of those.
So I decided just to dub over the last bit of audio and video and provide you the conclusion. This hive still concerns me quite a bit. The queen is in there and seems to be laying, but not laying much. So what I decided to do is, as you saw, I gave a couple of frames of brood and eggs, and in the hopes that that will spur the hive or spur the queen, or if nothing else, just increase their numbers because they are low on numbers. And I'm going to let that hive sit. I'm going to let that hive sit for 2 weeks now. Usually I get into the hives every week, but now I'm going to let this hive sit for a full 2 weeks to get a really good idea of whether the queen is laying or not. When I come back in 2 weeks, there should be more bee numbers because of the brood that I dropped in there, but there should also be much more cat brood ready to go for this hive. So as I thought about too, that drone frame, I think that's a frame of drone. So in other words, the frame, the actual cells are very, very big and very wide, and that's why that's laid full of drone comb. So I think that's what that is, but I'll take a look at that next time, maybe get rid of that frame so that they stop laying drone in it. So other than that, again, 2 weeks for me to come back to this hive just to have a look at it and see if it's if that queen is viable or not, and then I'll have to make decisions from there. So again, thanks for joining me and thanks for your input at 4D Honeybee.